Hello, everyone, and good morning. Happy Thursday. It is May 15th. This is an NBC 10 coffee break, and I'm Tamara Sacharczyk. So let's get right to your top story this morning. Hundreds of nurses and workers at Butler Hospital in Providence are on strike right now. They hit the picket line this morning. NBC 10's Mike Cerullo has been there for us all morning. He joins us now. We can see those protesters on strike behind you, Mike. So what are the workers demanding from Butler and its owner, Care New England?
Well, Tammy, these workers have been out here on strike since 6 a.m. this morning. They walked off the job. They are demanding increased wages. They want to keep their benefits, and they also are looking for a safer work environment. They're calling this a growing crisis of workplace unsafety, and they're really trying to push for a safer environment. They want the hospital leadership to take them more seriously and come up with a solution to some of the violence that they say is taking place in their workplace.
All right, and workplace violence, obviously something we've heard a lot about in recent years in hospital settings in particular. So they want more safety, they want more money. How is the hospital responding to these requests and the picket that's happening behind you?
Tammy, I have to apologize. There's a lot of support. We've heard a lot of honking, so I'm having trouble hearing you. But at the moment,
no worries.
Support for these workers. People have been driving by since, again, 6 a.m. this morning, out in the rain. The rain has finally started to let up, but these workers were out here, and it was pouring rain, really trying to make their point to hospital leadership.
So, Mike, have you heard from hospital leadership on how they're responding to this?
Well, Tammy, hospital leaders sent a statement shortly before 6 a.m. Today, and they said they were deeply disappointed that this strike has happened. They say that the union walked away from the bargaining table earlier this month, and the union refutes that. The union says that they want the hospital to come back to the bargaining table. The hospital says that the offer that they're offering them is going to increase wages by $20 up to $20 an hour for 99% of the workers within 4 years. And the workers here say that's not good enough.
All right. So like you said, dozens of people behind you. They've been there since 6 a.m. Any idea when this is supposed to end for the day?
Now, I've talked to organizers, and they say they are going to be out here as long as it takes today for up to 14 hours if no deal is reached. And they will continue to strike as long as it takes, is what they tell me.
All right, Mike. Well, I'll let you get back to it and talk to more of the protesters. I know it's loud, so you're probably having trouble hearing me as well. So I'll let you get back to it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tammy.
And obviously, as you saw behind Mike, it's very wet outside. It's been pouring out for a good portion of the morning, but like Mike said, it is starting to let up a bit. Jason, hopefully you have some good news for us on the weather front.
I do. I think the worst of the rain is over, Tammy, but clearly we got so much more rain than what we had bargained for across a good portion of the area. Newport, 2.63 inches of precipitation this morning. Providence just shy of an inch, and then Taunton in that same category. So that downpour that came through definitely did its number on the area. But the good news is we're tracking some drier weather to our south right now, but we still have this strip of showers and downpours kind of more or less from the South Kingstown, Charlestown line, stretching all the way up through the 295 corridor and then the interchange there with 495 and 95. That's going to continue to be the case for probably the next half an hour to 45 minutes before eventually that will lift up and out of our area. And to our south, so much drier weather that we're going to be able to tap into for this afternoon. The one thing that we're going to be looking out for is this little cluster of downpours right here to see if that will eventually move up into southern New England. But overall, the rain chances should start to drop off as we go forward and into this afternoon. And then we're finally going to start to see some of those improving conditions. But regardless of the rain, still a little bit of a mild morning, temperatures in the 60s. Eventually, we should be able to warm up close to 70 degrees by later on this afternoon. And then in the evening, right around sunset, maybe we start to see a slither of sunshine through that cloud decker. So tomorrow we're expecting more clouds in place, but that forecast has improved a little bit. But what hasn't improved, unfortunately, is this weekend's forecast, as we're going to be tracking those thunderstorms on Saturday. I'll be breaking down some of the latest information on that coming up at noon, Tammy.
All right, Jason, we'll see you then with more information on yet another rainy weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. All right. If you haven't heard about this yet, there's a big flag controversy happening in Providence. Tomorrow, the city council will raise a Palestinian flag over City Hall. The move is drawing criticism due to the high tension surrounding the Israel-Hamas war. Now, supporters say this is a good way to raise awareness for what's happening in Gaza, but others say the only flags that should fly on state property are the city flag and the American flag. We interviewed Mayor Smiley in studio at 5:30 or 5 o'clock, one of those half hours yesterday. Dan Janig did the interview, and he tells us the request came in directly to grounds to deny it, but he does recognize how divisive this issue is overall.
A half worth of protests in the city. And this is obviously a very divisive topic. And so I would hope that the council and members of our community would try to use these sort of events to try to bring us together as opposed to further divide us. And I'm worried that this is going to be one more divisive moment for a community that is divided very, very deeply on this topic.
So obviously, he's acknowledging both sides of the issue there with the supporters and the opponents to this. The flag raising will take place tomorrow at noon. So we, of course, will cover that and any fallout that happens from that. In other news, a forensic expert from the Mass State Police Crime Lab will be back on stand in the Karen Reed retrial this morning. Here she is talking about testing the taillight on Karen's SUV.
You swabbed with one swab the entire area. You are not able to say precisely where any DNA might have come from?
Just that it would have been present if there was DNA present on that swab. It would have come from the external exposed area of the taillight, should the taillight have been intact.
But again, on the inside, because you didn't swab the inside, you had no evidence of DNA on the inside of the taillight, correct?
Correct. I did not swab the inside.
That taillight, obviously a big part of this case and the investigation. Karen Reed, this is her retrial, of course. She's accused of striking and killing her then boyfriend, a Boston police officer, John O'Keefe, in 2022 during a snowstorm. She says she did not do it. She was framed. Prosecutors say she did do it. You might remember that court was abruptly canceled Tuesday because Karen was sick. So here's her dad talking about it outside of court yesterday. Take a listen.
This schedule, the full days and the like, and as you see, she's an integral part of this team, and she interfaces with every one of these lawyers. She knows the evidence inside and out, so she plays a big part in whatever attorney is up. Like you saw Bob Alessi this afternoon with Ms. Hartman. And so she plays a big role, and that involves a lot of time, and that time takes away from the necessary sleep that she needs. But she's a fighter. I've never met a stronger person.
Again, that was Karen Reed's father right there talking about Karen in the trial itself. If you're one of the people who are following this retrial very closely, we've got you covered. You can watch the retrial streaming on the NBC 10 WJR YouTube channel and see our daily debrief every day after 5 o'clock, where we bring in an attorney and we really break down the case for you if you're interested in seeing that. This story has been all over social media today. Investigators in Westerly are working to identify human remains found in the Watch Hill neighborhood. This is actually less than a mile from Taylor Swift's mansion and the Ocean House. Police were called to Everett Avenue around 9:30 yesterday morning, finding what appeared to be a human leg bone. Police say no foul play suspected at this time. The remains are being analyzed by the medical examiner's office, so there's much more to come on this one as police continue their investigation and hopefully release some more information. Now to Brown University, not responsible. A big win for Brown University, the student who sent a DOGE-like email to school staffers. Alex Shea sent thousands of emails asking staff what they did each day, kind of like what we've been seeing from DOGE on the national level. He also launched an online database of school administrators. What you're seeing right now is an ad that he had running on TV channels after he was called to a hearing because of the DOGE-style emails that he sent to administrators. The university ordered that disciplinary hearing, citing concerns that he had violated school policy or the law. He was cleared instead. So a big win for Alex Shea. Tonight, I have a story coming up about Providence city employees, the highest paid city employees. So what I did is I sent a records request to the city of Providence and asked for every salary or hourly wage of all of the city workers to find out who makes the most money. And I was actually pretty surprised because the top of your mind, you're probably thinking, the mayor of Providence, the police chief of Providence, directors in Providence. You think of these high level top positions, but those actually are not the people bringing home the biggest paychecks. Instead, it's people who you probably wouldn't think about, but it's not because of their borderline of their overall salary that they're making so much money. It's because of overtime. I'm talking about first responders here and the chunk of change that they brought home in 2024, making them the highest earner. Some of them very impressive how much overtime they've put in. But this, of course, also sparks questions over, are they being overworked? Does this financially make sense for these departments? So I spoke to the Providence fire chief about this, and I break down all of the data for you that I went through. That's coming up tonight, starting at 4 o'clock. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for today's coffee break. Hopefully you have your coffee and you're caffeinated and ready to go for the workday. News and weather updates are always available on our website. That's turnto10.com. You can also download the NBC 10 News app. So take us wherever you go throughout the day, and we'll be back on TV with updates on more stories on NBC 10 News at noon. All right, stay dry. Jason did say that the worst part of this is coming to an end. So hopefully you don't have to break out your umbrellas for too much longer. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.